Electro boots make RC charge viable, and in today's video, I'll be showing you the pros and cons between the Fox and the Phoenix to help you be efficient with this new equipment. And on the first attack here, we're going to use the Fox on the World Champion. Now, obviously, some key things to note here is that on the Fox, you have a invis duration of 4 seconds, and in comparison to the invisibility spell is slightly a little more, 4.5 seconds there. Now, we are going to utilize the time here to kind of take full advantage of it, because it can be hectic when trying to manage the timing of when to drop the invis and when does the World Champion goes invis. But as you can see, we are going to drop the World Champion as the timer hits at the 6-second mark. We're going to drop our first invis as the Fox wears the invisibility spell off. At the 10-second, at 250, as you can see, that's when that invis spell wears off. And again, we're going to kind of keep going back and forth here, dropping the invis. And the invis drops always goes at the 6-second mark, because that's when the Fox does run out of invis. So that's what we're going to keep doing, is doing that. Now, the biggest thing about this, what's going to be a little bit problematic here, is when you use your haste spell. Once you use your haste, the World Champion can get a little too far ahead of the Spirit Fox, and the Fox can get drawn away to the point to where it just automatically just died. As you can see, it died there, which is not so ideal, but it does happen just because the Fox just gets so behind the World Champion, in which you're just going to have to play the invis off. So we are going to try to see if this RC can actually grab that hull. Looks like it actually will, which is great. And that's one thing that's great about utilizing the invis spell. Utilizing the Fox, I should say, is because of that. Is so you could preserve that invis for further into the base. So we did get the Town Hall there, which is great. It's not something you can really expect nor plan, but if you do get it, that's just even better in terms of value-wise. So we are going to start the Dragons there. And again, we are just utilizing the Tome kind of straightforward here. Just use the Tome. I think right when we get to that Giga Bomb, we don't really have to use that overgrowth now, just because we took down basically all of the splash there. So we are absorbing all of the traps here. We are going to just drop the freeze, potentially just drop the ice golem to kind of tank the ricochet cannon, so that our dragons can kind of push through to the back end here. And then again, I think it should be GG's here. No matter what happens or what you do at this point, it will be pretty straightforward to getting the back or the rest of the base down. So again, key things to note when using this is that you kind of have to time it at the start, up until when you press the haste. I feel like once you press the haste, you kind of have to be conservative and drop your invis spells. Otherwise, if you try to go by off that timing, that cheat code, let's just say cheat code, then you're going to run into some problems when it comes to the Fox being so far away from where your World Champion is. So this one should be pretty straight and easy, because we were able to get the Town Hall. But now we would like to compare it with the Phoenix and see what is the difference, what's better between the Phoenix and the Spirit Fox. As you can see, the Fox there, utilizing that time advantage is great, because then you don't have to use as much invis at the start. So now let's go ahead and check and see how the Phoenix does. And this one, we are doing the Phoenix, and you can see I'm over dropping my invis. Like I said, 4.5 seconds. I am kind of dropping those. I'm not waiting for the full effect of the RC taking down those defenses, because I'm trying to push my World Champion in the base and taking full advantage of the aura that it does provide the damage. Now you can see I'm trying to use my invis in a way to direct and take full advantage of the invis spell. Now we are going to press the haste there, and this gives you more control of where your RC is going to go, not having to worry about a Spirit Fox having to be in that mix. So a good thing about this is that right now where it's positioned, if it dies with the Phoenix, you'll be able to get the revive out of the World Champion. And not only would the Phoenix pull the air traps, it will also deal with the CC for you, and then be able to kind of essentially do additional damage, full CC, take air traps out, and provide a little damage on the base. So same approach here like we did with the Spirit Fox. In comparison to the Spirit Fox, you could see we didn't get the Town Hall on this one. The Spirit Fox on the other one did get the Town Hall for us, and that was mainly because of the aura damage that it did provide us, which is insane. So you can see the comparison between the Phoenix and the Spirit Fox. The only two, or the biggest benefit between the Spirit Fox, is you being able to have those invis to be able to utilize and time with the Spirit Fox, and not have to utilize all of your invis, because with more with the same amount of invises, we were able to get the Town Hall, and that was because we did not have to use as much at the beginning like we did with the Phoenix. So either way, both of these outcomes are going to result in the same. I think in terms of power wise and what was remaining, the first one with the Spirit Fox is going to be slightly a little more because of course we got the Town Hall down, which then made it slightly easier to clean around the rest of the base there. So we did have to use an overgrowth there. Doesn't matter if you use overgrowth or no overgrowth. Either way, it should be fairly easy as long as you can manage that RC charge. So the biggest thing between here was trying to understand the pros and cons between the world champion, utilizing the Phoenix, utilizing the Spirit Fox, and understanding how to time the Spirit Fox and use your invis. As I kind of mentioned, 6-second and at the 10-second mark, you kind of have to watch it by the clock and utilize that to kind of overlap, so that way you don't have to worry about your RC dying. So now let's go ahead and jump back to a different base and utilize the Spirit Fox. Next base is going to be on a teaser Rage Poison box base. You can see that core is quite toxic against air, 3 Rage multis and air defense flanking. Nonetheless, here we are going to try to utilize the Spirit Fox, and to reiterate, we are going to be looking at the 6-second and 10-second mark of the clock to help us kind of time that invis and when the Spirit Fox goes invisible for the world champion, so that way you're not having to overthink this. So starting first, we are going to drop the world champion like we kind of mentioned. Once it hit the 6-second mark, we are going to drop that first invis there to make sure our RC and Fox are not taking damage. At that 10-second mark is when the Fox does, or the invis does wear off, and we are going to have to drop another invis right now just to make sure that our RC kind of pushed in the base. And then again, like I said, at that 10-second mark, that's when the world champion does go invisible. And at the 6-second is when we're going to be dropping that invis. Slightly late there, but it's okay because now the world champion is going to be able to push through the core. Let's go ahead and pop that in, that haste, and you can see there that it is stacked, that the Fox is actually staying along. It's going to probably die right there because of that double giant bomb, but it's okay. We were able to preserve some of these spells that now we're going to be able to utilize that and kind of clear the rest of this side. We are going to get the spitter and the other multi, and again, that's why I kind of like the Spirit Fox almost in a way, because of having not to have to use that many invis at the start of the attack, which then helps you be able to kind of save those spells so that you can use it more later in the core. So we wiped out all the air threat of that core, which is primarily those 3 Inferno. We got the monolith, so we are going to pretty sailing through the rest of this attack. We are going to go ahead and just drop our dragons on this side of the base and kind of potentially play our heroes. Looks like we got no sweepers to worry about, so we are just going to essentially just use our giant arrow however we want here, just to grab an air defense. And then with that, we're just going to try to break into here and let our dragons do a little bit of work, getting our queen in there. Looks like queen, come on queen, survive. She will. Let's go ahead and overgrowth this left side of the town hall to try to protect some of our heroes. And then you can see here, we got so much alive. The queen's going to be able to survive, and we're going to use the warden building now to kind of protect that. Ice golem coming in, and then we'll play both of our headhunters right there behind that. And look again, you can see pretty much the power of this is pretty much straightforward. After your RC, I mean, your RC gets about the air threat of the base, you're pretty much golden for the rest of the attack there. So Town Hall is going to come off now, but it's okay. We got enough troops. We got our Burying King ability still intact. We still got our Warden. We got dragons all across that base. So again, if you could just focus on that RC, you'll be good. Like I said, 6-second and 10-second is what you're going to be focusing on. And that's why I feel like this combination is great, because you're being able to use less invis at the start to have more when you get into the core, especially when your Fox bitch starts to die like it does here. That's when you'll be able to utilize that and take full advantage of it with all of those invis spells. But now let's compare that and see with the Phoenix and how that does. Running it up, we are using the Phoenix this time in comparison, so we could see the outcome of the comparison between the Spirit Fox and Phoenix. Now again, mentioning for the Phoenix, you kind of don't want your RC to fully take down the defenses. You kind of just want to let the aura do that for you, and you know, push your RC faster into the middle of the base, because again, you only have 9 invis and you don't have the Spirit Fox to work with on this one. So again, that's what we're going to be doing here. I'll just drop the RC, let it get one shot off that mortar, instant invis, and then, you know, kind of protect the world champion so she can kind of move inside of the base. And again, like I said, we are going to let that aura do that damage for us so we can kind of move our RC through the core of the base. And we're going to do that again not letting that expo go down so we can ensure that our RC is going to be able to go through the core of the base, because now we have to pop our haste and to be able to get the world champion moving inside of that core of the base so we can ensure we get that value with our world champion. So constantly invising, you can see we got 3 invis left. Now comparing the value between both, we are slightly getting roughly the same value here, and that's mainly because, you know, you can't let your world champion take down those defenses fully, because if you do, you're going to run into problems so where you're not going to have enough invis to get the core of the base. So good thing again here, world champion popping her PHEONIX is going to pull any potential air trap if there were, and again deal with those archers in the CC. We did get the spitter, so basically the same value if we are comparing like we were on that last hit, roughly the same exact value there. So that is great. We are going to just do the same thing with our heroes on this side, but this time use a skeleton spell to tank there, and then pop that queen ability to see if we can grab an air defense there, which we do, which is great. We're going to break that queen in, and then now we're just going to let our dragons kind of move through the base. Overgrowth, we're going to be playing that the same exact way. Once these dragons start to move up, we're going to use that warden ability just so the balloons coming out, we can protect those balloons so they can kind of go on the back end and assist for us on that matter. So again, as long as you can keep your, you know, RC in that invis, like I kind of mentioned, you don't want to let those you don't want to let the RC take down as those defenses completely, because if she does, then you're going to run into problems of running out of invis later on the attack. So again, in terms of power wise, I do think our first initial attack is going to have slightly more power there, and that's just going to be that because of the differentials between the heroes. I think we got the same value in terms of our dragons. I think this time that air defense on that middle just kind of screwed a lot of the dragons when the dragons kind of split off. But as you can see, both get the same value as long as you can manage both will perform the same. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you guys go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I will go ahead and link the army competition down below in the comments, so make sure you guys grab it and try it at your own. Hopefully you can see both of these pets do work, but I'll catch you all in the very next one. Ghost out.